Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy Pod, presented to you by DSM Media, as well as your host, myself. You can follow me on X at R2R30111. And you can follow your other hosts here at Scotty Slim. We're back at it again with another weekly episode of NBA to the Galaxy Pod. A few things that transpired. We had a trade breakdown a day, what is today, Tuesday, 3 days ago. You
Yeah,
know,
a few days. I
and
can't remember when that happened. Yeah.
yeah, 3 days ago, man, and kind of caught me by surprise because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't even know if this has even ever happened before. Like a trade happened during the NBA Finals. I could be wrong, but it was definitely kind of awakened to me. But nonetheless, we're gonna dive into that as well as talking about KD and his trade preferred trade destination, and obviously recapping the past three games of the NBA Finals. But before we dive into any topics or whatever, how we doing today, my guy Scotty Drown?
Yes, sir. Happy Tuesday, my man. I'm feeling good. Obviously, we getting the pod in after a fresh game, game five that was in OKC last night. Very
Yeah.
entertaining. This whole series been a great series. But yeah, I'm feeling good, man. We got some interesting topics. Like you said, Desmond Bane gets traded in the middle of the finals. The Pacers just did a trade as well. Apparently, they traded like some pick swaps with
Yeah, I've seen it actually. Yeah.
somebody. I can't remember who it was with, but they're making trades and they're in the NBA Finals. So whatever, I guess that's legal. But you mentioned it, man. The Memphis Grizzlies, they traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic, and that is something I'm definitely looking forward to getting into with you. The KD rumors are just heating up right now. He wants to go to the Spurs, apparently. So
Easy money sniper.
where you want to start, my man?
Let's start with Desmond Bane, man. They traded the Memphis Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to Orlando Magic for four first round picks, Kentavious Caldwell Pope and Cole Anthony. Man, what are your initial thoughts on that deal? Like, who would you say won this trade, or is it equal to you?
I'm glad you threw in that last part,
Yeah.
honestly. Man, when I look at this, I don't think anybody loses. I think that's the best way I could put it. Maybe not both teams win, but I know that neither team is losing this. You look at the Memphis Grizzlies side of things, they get 4 unprotected first-round picks for Desmond Bane, which it sounds like a lot. It really does. And I said this to you offline. I thought it was a lot at first. When you think about it in the grand scheme, Mikal Bridges got traded for like 6 first-round picks. First-round picks, when you're competing for an NBA championship or going towards it, just do not matter that much. You don't get these opportunities like the Sixers where you get lucky and get a top 5 pick all the time. You look at what the Magic get ultimately, they get Desmond Bane, man, and he's going to be something that they needed really, really bad, which is shooting, efficiency, creating off the dribble. And he does bring a little bit of playmaking as well. That I feel like he's kind of underrated in a sense, playing alongside Ja. He doesn't get those opportunities. But then you go to the Memphis side, they did get 4 first-round picks. You get a Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who his contract's horrible. We saw the way he played for the Magic last year. That was good on Magic getting off of that along with this trade. Probably had to happen due to financials, but I expect the Grizzlies, if they are going towards more of the rebuild route, maybe you move Kentavious Caldwell Pope somewhere else if some other contender wants him later on in his career. And then Cole Anthony, I think that's just whatever. Like, that's solid. That's a solid add-in for Memphis, of course. I think that's something they could see what he has going forward and see if he's somebody that they can keep for the future. But, yeah, I don't see any team losing this trade, man. What about you?
No, I say both sides won, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people was overreacting, in my opinion, in terms of, like, saying that Magic gave too many first-round picks. But to your point, like, when you have KCP, that contract ain't good, bro. Like, he's making over $20 million a year. So you kind of have to overpay just to load off his contract. So in saying that, like, initially, like, I feel like Desmond Bane is worth, for sure, a pick, maybe 2. So the additional other picks came in with just trying to offload KCP contract. So,
Good way to look at
yeah,
it.
but no, like you said, the Magic got exactly what they need. They needed a shooter. And the past few years, Desmond Bane has shown that he's more than just a shooter. He's a bucket. He He can score, and he's a pretty good playmaker as well. You can even play him at point guard. We're being honest. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like it's a good pickup for both sides. Maybe Memphis in a year or so heads towards a rebuild, but they got to start right here getting those picks, and they got a young player in Cole Anthony, and they can always flip KCP for more young assets moving forward. So yeah, I like the trade for both sides for sure. I mean, I knew sooner than later. You kind of felt it that Memphis was going to do something between Jaren, and Bane. You just kind of knew who it was. So now we see who it was, and it was Desmond Bane ultimately being traded. So yeah.
Are you surprised that Bane was the first one to be moved out of that trio that you just listed?
To be honest, not really, man. I mean, Ja is your franchise player, so he's going to kind of be like the last option for real. And then Jaren has kind of stepped into his own offensively to be exact over the past couple plus years. So you don't want to just trade him just to trade him because he has a lot of value around his league. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of contending teams that's a Jaren Jackson Jr. away from just getting over that hump. So yeah.
Yeah. Because as you were talking there, I'm thinking that about Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a guy that I don't know like any team that wouldn't want him if he was available, if that makes sense. I know he has the fouling concerns, but you put him in the right system, maybe get him out of Memphis. I don't know. I'm not throwing any more shade down there at Memphis or Ja or anything like that. But I don't understand why he's always struggled with the fouls, but I think you could get that fixed somewhere else. Overall, man, I think we agree. I think just in a different light. I don't think either team loses. And if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably go with Orlando if I had to pick one. Just because they're ready to compete. You add a nice Desmond Bane, like borderline all-star. He's never made the all-star team, right?
No, he never made it. But that's the thing. Like, I think that Magic, like the front office kind of read Desmond Bane. Like, he has a lot of untapped potential to kind of, get to. And I can kind of see it. I mean, he has gotten better every year. He has shown that. So, like I said earlier, he's proven that he's more than just a shooter. So,
yeah,
they're just trying to tap into that untapped potential, as well as like the East is going to be wide open next year, bro. Like,
yeah.
years.
And maybe he's an all-star in the Eastern Conference.
Right, yeah, because Tatum going to be down, Brown probably be, not play to start the season off, so it's going to be wide open, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. We'll see what Orlando has next season. It's a great start. I think that's the big thing for Orlando. Like, it's just the beginning of the summer. The offseason hasn't even officially started, and
that's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, so that's a good move. They're just getting started. We'll see where they go. Where do you want to take it to next, my man?
Let's talk about the director, man. Easy money sniper, KD. Shams Charania announced that he has 3 preferred trade destinations, including Houston, San Antonio, and Miami.
Miami. That's an interesting one thrown in there at the end as well. When you first hear that list of teams, like who do you immediately go to?
Oh, easy, San Antonio. I mean, come on, bro. Like, just think KD and Wemby in the front court, bro. Like, that is just, even at this stage of KD career, he's still damn good. So, and De'Aaron Fox too. So, yeah.
I know I asked you this like maybe a week or maybe a couple weeks ago, but Stephon Castle, untouchable in the KD trade.
If I had to say so in there, I'd say yeah, because it's like I feel like you can still get him without including him. You have a lot of good assets. You got the 2nd overall draft pick, and you got the 14th overall draft pick. So you can kind of, I wouldn't give up both picks, but you can cook up something else other than Castle for sure.
Yeah. Would you rather trade the 2nd pick at basically Dylan Harper than trade Stephon Castle?
Yeah, for sure. If basically you can kind of real like you trading Harper for KD in a sense. So.
Yeah, and I mean Castle's NBA proven now.
He's the rookie of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's fair, man. I think it's very interesting. Just seeing the teams that KD has kind of selected. It's very different than what I feel he's done in the past when he's entered these situations, which is jumping to like this superstar-filled team. None of those teams that he listed are these superstar-filled teams. Yeah, Wemby is approaching superstar. He may already be a superstar just with his like international prowess, right? But he's obviously on the trajectory to become one of the best players in the NBA, right? And then De'Aaron Fox, he's like a lower level star in the NBA. He's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. I love De'Aaron Fox, but he's a lower level, lower tier star, if you want to say that. Then you go to Houston. Obviously, they have guys there, but no real superstars there. And then the Miami Heat obviously traded away Jimmy. So it's interesting to see his selection of teams. I agree with you. I think the Spurs is the one team that truly sticks out. I think that's a team that, yeah, they weren't in the playoffs or the play-in this season, but that can change just like that when you bring a guy like KD in, and you have the talent that you have right there. I got a 3-team trade.
Okay.
Involving the Spurs, the Suns, and the Hornets. So the Hornets are this third team added in to make this work. Let me know if you would do it. Or I guess let me know which team, from your perspective, you wouldn't do this for. So in this trade, the Spurs get Kevin Durant, and they get the Hornets' 4th pick in the draft. The Suns get Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan. Why do I always
Jeremy Sohan?
Sohan. There we go. Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Mark Williams, the 14th pick in the draft, and then a 2026 and a 2027 first-round pick. So all of that goes to the Suns. Then the Hornets get the 2nd pick in the draft. So they'll have their choice of Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper, and they would also get 2 second-rounders. So their involvement is really just that pick swap from going from 4 to 2. That's really the Hornets' only involvement. And then they throw Mark Williams to the Suns.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that. That's a great trade. Like, I feel like every team gets better. Yeah, especially in Phoenix. Like, look at all those young pieces you get. You know, you put those guys around D-Book, and if you keep Bradley Beal, then yeah, I mean, you got a good amount of depth, young players. And with Charlotte, you go from the 4th overall pick to the 2nd. And then the Spurs, you get your guy in KD. So, you know, I feel like it all works out.
Yeah, and even in this deal, the Spurs get to keep the Hornets' 4th pick in the draft, which is like,
right.
I feel like that's an extra come up
exactly.
for the Spurs.
Right.
You add another young guy to the mix there. So, yeah, KD to the Spurs. What do you think is ultimately going to happen?
I think it's for sure between San Antonio and Houston. Like, I think Miami was just one of those teams he kind of just threw in there because, to me, it don't make sense for him to go there because that's a team that would have to give up a lot just to get him. So you pretty much giving up your whole roster just to get him because he makes a lot of money. So in saying that, and then him going over there to the East, I don't know, like, yeah, I think his best chance to win that championship is with either San Antonio or Houston. So I think ultimately it'll be between Houston and San Antonio, but I think the Spurs end up getting them though. So
yeah, it feels like the Spurs are picking up the momentum. I don't know if that's just me misreading what's being reported in the media. I know you saw that video with Iman Shumpert and Shams that everybody's speculating on. Basically, Iman Shumpert like brought up the point that he knows that Kevin Durant wants to specifically go to the San Antonio Spurs, and everybody was commenting on Shams' body language when Iman Shumpert was talking through that. He just got like a little antsy and such. Like, so people are thinking that Shams may already have a little bit of an inklet as to what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe a little bit. He's even
he probably do. He just, you can't give up all your sauce though, Need. You got to have fun with it. He's trying to get them engagements on X, man, get paid a little bit, But no, also, bro, like with KD though, from based on what the reports I was reading, it's like he's trying to get an extension too, because I think he has like one more year left on his deal. So yeah,
interesting. So they would get him. How many more years you think KD's got? I think that plays a big part.
Yeah, it does, because you don't want to mortgage your future,
right?
You may want to be in a win now type of situation, but you don't want to mortgage your whole future in doing that. So,
like, if
what is KD, 37? I think he's 36 or 37. So
he's got to be up there. He's got to be up there.
Yeah, he's up there for sure. So,
and I'm just thinking, like, he's 36, man. How old's LeBron? He's over 40.
Yeah, LeBron like 40, 41.
LeBron's a different.
I think KD can probably give you about 4 to 3 more years. He's probably going to regress as the years go by, but I still think he's going to average over 20 points.
Yeah.
For sure, over 20.
He could live as a spot-up shooter in the NBA. I guess my only concern is if there's just one more major injury, right?
Yeah. Like, same thing with Kobe.
From that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's torn his Achilles,
torn
his ACL before.
He's had calf issues.
Yeah.
But I feel like his usage rates would go down. Like especially if we go to a team like San Antonio, like he'd be the third option. So that's a scary sight that KD is a third option.
That's a good point.
But he's really not a third option. He just labeled as one. So because he's still gonna get his regardless. So.
Yeah, but to your point, I mean, the ball will be in Wemby's hands. I mean, he's getting blocks and taking it coast to coast. You got De'Aaron Fox who likes to get the ball and go. So it's not a bad idea, man. Take some load off KD's back, and maybe you do get a few more years out of him. That's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, KD to the Spurs. Let's make it happen. I think it would be good for the NBA as well. I think that's the other thing here.
Yeah, it would be fun for sure.
Where you want to take it next, my man?
Man, let's recap the past 2 games, man. Game 4 and Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Yes, sir. So obviously you had the past 2 games, the OKC's been able to come out with W's. They've happened in very differentiating fashions, right? In the first, in the Game 4 in Indiana, you have the Pacers kind of controlling that game. It looks like they're about to run away and grab the lead in the series 3-1. Thunderstorm back. You get SGA. This was SGA's signature finals MVP season.
I agree.
Moment. Because he scored 35 total points, but 15 points in the fourth quarter, including a 12-1 run to end the game. So 12-1 run by SGA to end this basketball game. And once again, I just thought that was a signature moment for SGA to just kind of commemorate this season and everything that he's accomplished and what OKC's on the path to do. Then you get to Game 5. I think OKC kind of took the role of, controlling most of the game. Get to the fourth quarter, you think, maybe it happens again. Game 1, you start getting flashbacks. OKC controls it down the stretch. J-Dub. I'll throw it to you, man. J-Dub.
That dude. He's that dude. Simple as that, man. He has really shut a lot of people up that were trying to create that narrative of him not being is he that second option for SGA? And he's proven that he is, There is no can be. He is, bro. His performance last night was just phenomenal, bro. He went out there and he was having his way, in great fashion. But no, man, with Game 4 though, bro, to me that was the best chance Indy had to win this series, and they blew it. That was their chance to we got these guys. And SGA said, nah, bro, I want to have a say-so in that. And he went out there and he killed the game, to close it, bro. He just did his thing. To your point, 15-1 run by himself. Yeah. That is just crazy work. But, yeah, they went out there, man. You have to give OKC a lot of credit because they just showed the resiliency of that team. Because most teams probably would have just laid down and just probably looked to shake back the next game back at home. But, OKC, they thought otherwise. So, yeah, man, that's that. And last night, Game 5, though, bro, man, Indy, bro, it's some of the stuff they do, to be more exact, turnover-wise, they make OKC look like the veteran team here, and they're not even vets. The way they constantly turn the ball over, it's just simple mistakes, bro. It was just they'll trim the lead down to 13, 10, 6, and every time they just give OKC the ball, and then they go on a run. Yeah. It'd be simple mistakes like that. Granted, Tyrese Halliburton did hurt his calf, I think, in the first quarter of that game. And I just seen a report that Miles Turner is I just seen something pop up. I think he's dealing with some type of injury as well. But no, last night was a must-win game as well, for sure. So they showed flash that they can compete. But with all due respect, I think that they really be beating themselves though. That's no knock on OKC, they're a great team, but some of the stuff they do, like the silly dumbass turnovers, bro, like it really pisses me off, bro. 'Cause it's like fifth grader turnovers, bro. Like y'all just throwing the ball and just doing that. Like TJ McConnell, he was huge last night. He was hooping, bro. He was huge. Him and Obi, they had their stretches during the game. Tyrese Halliburton, he finished the first half with 0 points, but like I was saying, he's dealing with some type of injury. So, OKC side of things, man, simple. J Dub, that's all I got to say. He was cooking. And SGA, he was getting it done on defense. So, yeah, man. To me, it looked like OKC finna close this thing up, bro. Like, I don't see them coming back home and celebrating. I think they're going to close it out next game, bro. So, OKC in 6.
I hear you. I hear you, man. No, I think to your point, you look back at game 4 specifically. You mentioned that was the game the Pacers
they had to have. They had to have it, bro.
And the way it went down, right? The Thunder, they stole that game. Like they had no business winning that game. Kind of like the Pacers did in game 1, literally. Yeah. But the Thunder doing it is just a little bit different than the Pacers doing it. And I think that speaks to the Thunder's resilience. I think it speaks to what they depend on. And I think in game 4, it may have even been game 3, but I think specifically in game 4, the Thunder started to recognize that they cannot be stopped when they drive to the paint. Jalen Williams, J-Dub can just drive to the paint at will on this team. His size, it's ridiculous. Nobody on their team can guard him. Neesmith can't guard him. He's just too skilled to get around him. He's too physical. He's too big of a body. And the guy can defend 1 through 4, 2 through 4. What do you want to say? I mean, he's got size and he can finish with both hands. He can dribble with both hands. These sound like basic things, but these are basic things that NBA players lack in this day and age that he does not. And I think that's what makes it just so interesting to watch J-Dub specifically play, especially these last 2 games where it feels like he's just had complete control. You throw in SGA, man, J-Dub has the 40-point game in game 5. SGA, to your point, defensively, he comes out, he has what?
He had like 3 or 4 blocks in that
4
game.
blocks, 2 steals last night. So a total of 6 blocks and steals. He leads the entire series in blocks and steals from the point guard position. So, I mean, it just speaks to his all-around competitiveness. It speaks to him playing on both ends. He does it defensively. And, oh, by the way, last night he had 31 and 10 on offense, right? So, he walks into 30-point games. He walks into them. He's been incredible. And then I do just want to give some props to – and I'm not shitting on the Pacers supporting cast. I'm not trying to because they've been great. On OKC's side, you look at Alex Caruso, man. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the way he has been able to contribute in this series. I think he had, 20 points in game 4. Last night he comes up with a bunch of steals. He's just been doing what the team needs. Cason Wallace had like 4 or 5 steals last night off the bench.
He was knocking down threes too.
Wiggins knocking down threes.
Wiggins.
I mean, their supporting cast has been amazing. I think on the reverse end, and I'll throw this to you.
Yes, sir.
The Pacers are suffering in reverse. And I mean that as in Halliburton is just not holding up his part of the bargain. He's injured. I'm not criticizing Halliburton overall. I'm just criticizing him in this series and saying I don't think he's been aggressive enough. Maybe this calf injury has been lingering into the other games, and that's why he wasn't so aggressive in those other games. But I just have wanted to see more from him the last couple games. Obviously, last game, he injures his calf. I think they're suffering, man. Pascal Siakam is performing. TJ McConnell, to your point, came off the bench, performed. Obi Toppin performed. Neesmith hitting threes down the stretch to try to bring them back. Nembhard strapping up on the defensive end, trying to guard SGA. They need Tyrese Halliburton, and he just has not been able to provide what they need. And I ultimately think that's why they end up in the place they are right now. But I'll throw. What are your thoughts on that specifically? I know you talked about Hallie's, but overall,
something that's been in my mind for the past few days, bro. I want to talk about Madden for a minute. Like, help me to understand, why is he not getting over 20 minutes a game? In my opinion, he's easily like your second or third best shot creator on this team, with all due respect. Yeah. I really do think that, like, he's shown that he can get buckets. What was it in game 3? He had like 25 points or something?
Yeah.
Game 3.
Majority in the second half, right? Or in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he got his. Like, I don't know if this has something to do with politics, because I didn't even know he was Canadian. I just found that out last. Whenever he scored 25 points, when I found that out. So I don't know if it has anything to do with politics or whatever, but Rick Carlisle, you have to play that dude over 20 minutes, bro. Like, I don't know if you look at it as him. Huh?
Nemhard's Canadian too, so he starts. Yeah. So it isn't that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Canada's stacked, by the way.
Yeah, they do. They got a lot of talent in this league. But nah, man, you got to find a way to play that dude, bro. Seriously, like, I think it was game 4. He had like 12 minutes or something like that. But it's just confusing me, bro. Like, a bucket getter like that should play. And it's not like he had liability on defense, though. That's the thing that confuses me.
Right.
But now, to answer your original question, man, you're right, bro. Halliburton has to have like one of those Halliburton games.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be 30 points. It ain't got to be 40. It only have to be 25. Give them 20 points, 15 assists, 6 rebounds, and just go out there and play your game and do it at a pretty high level in doing that. So, yeah, if he can do that, then they make it for us a game 7. But you hit the nail on the head with those points that you made too, bro. Like, Pascal Siakam, all those other guys are kind of holding up on their end of the bargain. But Tyrese Halliburton has to be that guy that put those guys over the hump. They just nickname him the moment. So. Hey.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I just pulled up Halliburton's numbers just to take a look. You look throughout the games. I know scoring's not his department. I know that. But 14, game 1, 17, game 2, 22, game 3, they win. So I guess he had a game there, 22.
Wait, was that because I know he went to the free throw line for the first time. What was it, game 4 or 3?
That was game 3. No, game 4, you're right, was the first time he went to the free throw line. Game 3, though, he had his highest point total with 22. So, interesting. I think when you get to this level, you see what SGA is having to do. He's tired, man. You see his hands are on the knees. He's tired. He's gassed.
Yeah, they look gassed for sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but SGA pushes through and he gets the buckets. He does what his team is needing right now. And I do think that's kind of part of the difference. J-Dub, you could argue, like, Pascal had 28 in the game last night. He was killing OKC down the stretch. He just did not have help from his road dog there in Halliburton.
Yeah.
So,
got to change
for game 6. Go ahead.
Yeah, Casey Wallace be doing a good job of like, guarding Pascal. Like, he denies the ball. Like, when he's guarding him in the post, like, he does a very good job of that. And it's pretty impressive.
Such an annoying player, like as a big guy, especially.
Yeah.
Low center.
But yeah, like, I don't know, bro. Like, OKC, they was clearly the favorites in this matchup, and they have shown that there are truly levels to this, bro. Like, I'm being honest though. Like, OKC, they have an elite whistle, like, all across their team, bro. Defensively, I'm not trying to take anything away from Lou Dort. He's one heck of a defender. But that dude be playing football out there, bro. Like, seriously, like, I'm not joking. Like, he plays football out there. Like, some of the way he chucked guys, and like last night he flopped. Like, TJ McConnell, 175 pounds, is knocking down Lou Dort, 6'4", 220. Stuff like that, man. It's just crazy. Now, obviously, we know what SGA can't touch the dude. He gets to the free throw line, and J-Dub starting to end that conversation as well.
In the whistle, man. I feel like J-Dub, though, I feel like he's a little bit more I understand it a little bit more with J-Dub because he has such a physical presence that if you knock him off his path and the ref sees that, that's kind of an obvious foul. Whereas,
So
like,
he's not initiating the contact. Is what you're trying to say? He's
he's
not
not
bait.
going up. He's not going up soft. He's going up
Okay.
strong. He's trying to finish through the contact.
Okay. Whereas it to SGA, he's kind of, he's
trying
inviting
to
you to
that contact. You know,
like he's
not necessarily go through the contact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to diss SGA. I think it's just a superstar whistle. But to your point, I think it is fair to say they get a whistle. Do you think that just stems from the regular season, though, and them just playing with that defensive intensity the whole season, regardless of the way the whistles are going? And then the NBA just says, oh, that's the way they play. We'll officiate them this way. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of why they would get a favor.
Oh, you know why. You know why. Vegas made that call. It's time to get this series over with.
Let's not get into that just yet. No, because you're spot on, bro. So you got OKC finishing Indiana out in 6.
Yeah. I had hope in Indiana. I originally had them in 7 before we even started this series. But like I said, in game 4, that was a must-win game, and they blew it. Everybody knew it. They was talking about it all across the world. That was the game you have to have, man. You have to have that game because if you go back to OKC home up 3-1, even if you lose game 5, you going back home, you could potentially close it out in 6. But they blew it, and I think OKC not coming back home for no game 7. I can tell you that now. So they go get it done on the road. So yeah, I got OKC in 6.
Yeah, I agree. Ultimately, I'm hoping for a game 7. It's been a great series. They've been going back and forth. We've seen a lot of comebacks. But I think that game 4, you hit the nail on the head earlier in the show. That game 4, it's not only just a horrible loss overall in the NBA Finals, but it's a demoralizing one. The way that it happened, the way that it fell apart down the stretch, and I think that just kind of killed them in a sense, man. And I think the other thing, when you look at game 5 and Halliburton and the fact that he just couldn't be anything close to himself. I just wonder how tore up that calf is. All of these guys are worn down. They're injured. They're beat up. They're tired. So I just don't think it's going to get necessarily better for Tyrese Halliburton from a health standpoint. So, yeah, I think OKC goes into Indiana and gets them out of there. I would love to see a game 7, though. And if Hallie is somehow healthy, they can give him a game in Indiana at home. They can do that. I just am not sure about Tyrese Halliburton. So
yeah, I feel it. Yeah,
we're in agreement, man. It ends on what, Thursday?
Thursday. Yep, 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
And then we got the NBA draft next week.
Yeah, the NBA draft is next Wednesday. So
that's starting to heat up. The rumors are.
And then before you know it, the off season starts June 30th.
Yep.
So hey, we getting that, man. We getting that for sure.
We're waiting on that KD trade too. That'll be big news when it comes. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened on draft night, if I'm being honest.
I feel you.
Well, actually, I think it would happen because
right before
that mock trade that you presented, I think it makes sense to go and do it.
Yeah, you have to get it done before. We'll see, man. Something to keep an eye on. But anything else before you get us out of here, my man?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, pretty sure we'll link up and do like a pod before the draft or after the draft, and then obviously we'll lead to like the off season. I know last year we did a pretty good job. We did like a 2-hour special, bro. Me, you, and Dylan, bro. We did like a like a off season special. It was a special pod, but all 3 of us was on there for sure. It was fun. We'll see if we can do that again, though. So yeah. That's pretty much it, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to the pod. Follow my guy on X at Scotty John, as well as myself at R2R30111. Follow the TikTok at NBA to the Galaxy Pod. Make sure you guys follow that so we don't miss any more of that great content moving forward. And that's pretty much it, man. We'll try to be here again. I don't know. It depends. Maybe end of the week, maybe next week. But turn on notifications on so you can't miss us. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Appreciate you, Slim. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next week, maybe with a new champion.
Peace.